Henry, how will the suspension of FAAC funds impact Rivers State's finances and its ability to provide essential services to the citizens?
Apparently, the delivery of services and programs and projects in a state will surely be a factor of the availability of funds for that state, and of course, the prudent management of resources. So it is to that extent that where a federated unit in a federal state as Nigeria is denied funds in the case of Nigeria, where substantial part of the fund for projects and programs in a state are drawn from the federation account, and the state is denied that fund, then apparently the delivery of projects and programs in that state will be affected. So there is no doubt that, unfortunately anyway, there is no doubt that if the Federation Accounts Allocation Committee, or by extension the federal government, takes the step to deny Rivers State government, or any government, any state government, even a local government, the statutory and constitutional right to access funds from the federation account, that would have a negative effect in the delivery of services in that state. There's no doubt about that. So I state here that it's unfortunate if the Federation Allocation Account Committee, and by extension the federal government, take a step to effect that restriction of allocation of funds from the federation account to River State government, then apparently that will affect the delivery.
I hope I'm not getting you wrong. Are you implying that the federal government should go ahead despite a court order restricting it?
I dare say that even as much as the decisions of courts remain valid until decided otherwise, as overturned by an appellate court, but in a situation where the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is quite clear as to the rights of the federated units to access funds, and then for the purpose of providing services to the state and then the people of the state, if the federal government fails to find a way to resolving this, then I think that in the pretext that the federal government would want to say they want to comply by the order or the judgment of that court, then that will affect the state, except where the governor of the state has if you like, exceptional initiative to still find a way around running the state and providing services. Otherwise, if a state is not blessed with that ingenuity, then there is going to be a serious situation of probably grounding administration and service provision.
What would be the legal implications here on both sides of the divide? You are suggesting that the federal government disregard the court order and go ahead and give them the finances they need. On the flip side, what would be the implication, the legal implication, should the federal government do this, and also if they don't?
Well, apparently, when it comes to decisions of courts, and I do understand, even when you had the introduction to this, there is already an appeal against that decision. And then again, there could also be an application for stay of execution. And then where that exists, then it's not apparently a disobedience or disregard to the orders of a court, where there is an application for stay of execution, and when granted, then of course that judgment will be stayed in a way. But it's left to the federal government. This is not the first time and the only situation where the federal government would have intervened, and then not apparently in disobedience of the order of court, but for certain other considerations. Because let me state here apparently that it is not about the governor of a state, not particularly Rivers State, where this kind of judgment, when delivered, would affect not the governor of the state, but the generality of, in fact, everybody in the state. The welfare of citizens and then the residents of that state will be affected. The provision of services will be affected. Children and, of course, everybody will be affected one way or another.
Is there a possibility that this will set a precedent for other states, and could it be something that would affect future revenue allocation to states?
I think one other consideration, I think, or one effect this kind of decision would give is a test to our democracy. I mean, our federalism. If we really truly have, if Nigeria is a federal state, because I think the other states in the federation will ask this fundamental question: the rights that states have and in the share of their appropriation, I mean their fund in the federation account, whether the federal government or any agency or the federal government, including the Central Bank of Nigeria, can withhold the share of any fund into the federation account. Don't forget that the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria provided to the extent that every fund, every money that is generated for the federal government should go into the federation account, but it's collectively owned by the local government, the state government, and the federal government. It is until that money is distributed that the federal government can have exclusive control, or any agency of the federal government, exclusive control of the share of the federal government. And I think this issue had arisen even before in this country. And sometimes the 36 states attorneys general have had cause to even challenge how the federal government had gone into expenditures of monies that collectively belong to all the tiers of the federating units of this federation that we claim to have. So I think it will be a constitutional issue and a legal issue that we may try again. But I've had this, I know that this has actually been a serious challenge in truly examining whether we have a federal system or we have a unitary system.
All right, Henry.
It's unfortunate, really, indeed, that this kind of judgment will even come from the courts that we have in this country. I think sometimes if we're making, we have to.
That's the much time will permit us. We appreciate the insights you provided. Thank you for your time.